Hello. Shit. That's better. I'm gonna be playing Handulum while the Patricia Taxxon album Visiting Narcissa plays in the background. Because it's literally my favorite album of hers. Like, I go to sleep to it very often. There's one song on it, I think it's like her breaker room, that makes it hard to sleep to because the first couple minutes is like a really creepy, like artificial metal bonking. It's hard to explain. I don't know if it's her breaker room or not. It's around there, like in the latter half of the album, but it's good. That's like the only part that like I would consider not great about it. It's still a great vibe, like very spooky, and the latter half of the song is great. I'd give it 10 out of 10. You know, great album. The vibes are immaculate. I truly feel like I'm visiting the rooms in her house, which is the point of the music, I believe. I think I've heard either on the Bandcamp page or Patricia Taxxon say that the album is like supposed to represent visiting Narcissa's house and the rooms in it. Because as her breaker room implies, each song is called her X, like her, and then a room in the house. Don't get me started on her bed. That shit is interesting, to say the least. It's like, I asked the question to my cousin, what's a song that you think is very erotic but doesn't belong in a porno and has no lyrics? And he didn't have an answer, which is not very surprising. There's not a lot of songs like that. But Her Bed is one of those songs to me. There's no lyrics. Definitely doesn't belong in a porno, or at least not like a normal porno. But it's definitely erotic. I already beat the game once. Let's keep doing it. I mean, this game is just a ploy to get me to talk for a while without getting bored. I cried in the last Let's Play where I listened to 10 Skies while playing Handulum. I could not finish 10 Skies. Like, I could finish that album. The album's good. But I couldn't finish that Let's Play because I was getting very fatigued, both emotionally, mentally, and physically. That's kind of the point of this type of Let's Play for me. Like, after I did that first one, I was like, this is a vibe. Like, me crying, me getting really personal. That's the vibe of these Let's Plays, and that's, like, what I want to go for when I do them. No doubt. There's a bit that's changed in my life since I did the last one. I think I did the last one in June, like, within a week or two of 10 Skies dropping. This is an older one. This is from, like, 2022, this album. But it's still a classic. I mean, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but to me, it's like I'll be listening to it until the end of time. Because this just the instrumentals, I think you'd call them instrumentals. There's certainly some songs that are less IDM-y than others. Like, I can't even pretend to remember what any of the songs' names go with the instrumentals that I remember from them. Like, her breaker room, I think, is the one that has the creepy metal bonking. But her foyer, I think, is the first one that we just listened to and just finished. Which is like, damn it. I think it's my favorite. I hate to say it, but I think it might be my favorite song off the album. Just because the bit, like, near the end until it, like, not abruptly stops, but it changes. It's, like, it's not erotic, but it's definitely a climax of some sorts. I say that as if a climax is not a normal thing in art that isn't erotic. I was talking about what's changed in my life. I've met a new friend. They're very cool. And I don't know, I've made some more art, I've started more projects. I got an OP1, which is like a hipster synthesizer. A real Groovebox type thing. It's nice. I bought it thinking it was gonna be made out of plastic. Or like not entirely, but obviously like I thought the outer shell was plastic the way it looked, but no, it's like metal, probably aluminum. Like the entire shell is aluminum, and that's awesome because I bought it for $700. Which is not abnormal for me. I've bought, I think, before that I bought 2 other synthesizers, which were about $600, $650. 700's not out of the question for me to buy. But, you know, I worked at a show selling t-shirts, and I got a lot of money doing it because it was like working at a sweatshop. You know, 10 to 14 hour days. And with some of that money, I'm using most of it. I'm putting most of it in my trust for, and also saving it for taxes, because I've never done my own taxes, which is bad, I think. Like, I've never made enough for it to matter, I don't think. I don't think the IRS is gonna come knocking at my door, because the $5,000 that I make in a year wasn't taxed on. Like, I'm pretty sure if you live below the poverty line, you don't need to file your taxes. I am not a financial advisor. Do not take that to heart or anything like that. Look it up yourself. But I haven't done it. I think I did it. I think my mom helped me do it. Hi, Mom, if you're watching this. But no, it's weird. I did them, she did them once for me, like she gave them to a financial advisor, and they did them because I had a job during the summer of 2019 dishwashing. Best job I've ever had. I've only really held down, I've technically had 5 jobs technically if you count the t-shirt selling. But I've had 4 jobs, but really I've only worked at 2 for any amount of time that mattered. The first one was for the summer of 2019, where I was a dishwasher in Alaska, which was interesting. I say that like I didn't grow up there. But no, it was awesome. I loved the people that worked there. Doing the job felt very rewarding. I mean, it not terribly rewarding, but for a dishwashing gig, it doesn't get much better, I don't think, than working where I did. But yeah, no, it was great. I worked as a frozen and dairy stocker at a grocery store for 8 months during the years of 2020 and 2021. That was all right, although I was very self-destructive. Like, nearing the end of that job, I was like, there were a lot of days where I was like, you know, if I just pretend to accidentally cut myself with my box cutter, I can get out of work early. I never did it, mind you. And, well, I tried to, but it was never, by the time I would try, fuck, I need to put a trigger warning on this episode now. That's terrible, I'm sorry. Whatever, it's fine. Trigger warnings are fine. I love them. They're great. I don't think, the only reason I would ever need one, I think, is because there's like a lot of knocking on doors in like an episode of something. Because ever since middle school, I had a friend during middle school that would like knock on my door to let me know that the bus was coming, because we lived in the same apartment buildings, or like around the same area. And if she didn't see me, I don't know if they still use she, her pronouns. I haven't talked to them in many years. But if she didn't see me at the bus stop, she would be like, fuck, I gotta wake up this person. And I would never, I think there was like a couple times where I would get up out of bed and go with her to the bus stop, but there was a lot of times where I would just ignore her and fucking stay in bed hearing it. And something about that triggered something in me that made it so that every time I heard someone knock on something very acoustic or very reverberant or whatever, my heartbeat would jump like 10 or 20 beats per minute. I wouldn't call it knockophobia, because like I'm not screaming, but like if someone starts doing it for no reason, I gotta tell them to stop. It's no good for me. It makes me very nervous. And I was going somewhere before I said any of this. Oh yeah, I was talking about trigger warnings. Yeah, no, that's like the only reason I think I might need one, although I don't think that's something people would put a trigger warning for. I would. If I made something specifically to trigger me, and like, I don't know, I would put a trigger warning for all the knocking. Just in case there's someone else out there that has that weird thing. I looked it up many years ago. It's not something that is real. Knockophobia is not real. You can't, there's no Wikipedia page, there's no, I don't think it's in any doctor's notes or whatever. It's a little late at night. Well, I think you saw my time earlier. It's not that late, but it's definitely, there's no sun out, and I'm tired, or like, I don't know. I'll be frank, I'm recording this because I'm manic. I had an energy drink earlier, and because I'm on bupropion, my psychiatrist, whomst I had a fucking doctor's appointment with, not like literally a couple hours ago at like 1 o'clock, told me not to drink energy drinks, and then I went against her wishes, and now I'm in like a little manic episode. And if after I'm done recording this, it still persists and maybe it even got worse, I might go to the hospital. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but it happens. I'm on Medicare, so I don't have to pay for it, which is very nice. But it's still no good. Like, the thing about going to the hospital is that it doesn't inherently make you better. You go to the hospital because you're safer there. There's no sharp objects for you to stab yourself with and whatnot. And there's people around you. Like, you can, like, don't get me wrong. When you're at the hospital, you're waiting to get better. Or maybe you go to the psych ward after you initially go to the hospital, and you wait there to get better. You're not going to find a cure at the hospital. They might put you on new meds, which they have done for me before. Ironically, the only time new meds have worked were when I was out of the hospital. Like, they put me on... I don't know if I talked about this in the last episode, but they put me on... Hold on. I'm gonna go crazy. Am I recording? Test, 1, 2. Okay. That works. Great. Oh god, no. I don't know where I was. I'm just gonna restart. They put me on Abilify after a very bad manic episode in June of 2023. And I was on it for probably 6 months. Most miserable I have ever been in my entire life. If I had to choose between dying and going through that again, like those 6 months, I would rather die. It was so bad. I was very, I'm clearly a pretty resilient person, because I was able to go through all of that and not, like, I think during that time I actually went into a psych ward like twice. Realistically, there were times when I should have gone in and I didn't. I mean, there were times when I went to the hospital because my friends wanted me to, and I would go there, and while I was in there alone, I would be like, hey, I actually don't want to be here, which was no good. That was very unhealthy of me. But there was one time that was really, it was depressing at the time, but it was quite funny. They dropped me off there, my friends did, and I was very tired. It was very late in the night. I think I took my trazodone, which is like my sleeping med, but I was also very depressed, so I needed to go. And they dropped me off. I went into the hospital, and the doctor that saw me was like apparently really fucking mean or something like that. I wasn't entirely conscious for a lot of it, or not paying attention. But like at some point while I was waiting for people to see me, I fell asleep, like, or I was falling asleep. And he came in and he was like, I remember being like, no, why'd you let him fall asleep? And at the time I had he, him pronouns. Now it's any, all. Refer to me as anything, people. That might change in the future. Not to get off topic. But no, he saw me and he was like, he was really annoyed with me, clearly, because I had fallen asleep. And he like directly was like, do you think you need to be here? Like in a very stern voice. And after a little bit of thinking, I was like, no. Even though I really should have been. I was just really tired and didn't necessarily want to be there because I was not in the right state of mind. Again, bad manic episode. Bad mental, I call it my mental illness era. And I'm getting real deep into this episode, like very early on. I'm like, what, on the third, fourth song? I forget how many songs are on this album. There's a fair few. This album's like an hour and a half long, same as 10 Skies. But I'll probably like this album, like for Let's Playing more, because there's just a lot more variation. That's just IDM versus ambient. Like, you're gonna get more variation in an IDM album, at least in terms of, maybe not sonically, like if the ambient albums can be very sonically, there's a big sonic variety in a lot of them, especially with Patricia taxxons. I need to listen to Task. Maybe that's my next Let's Play. I'll listen to Task, which is either her first or one of her first ambient albums. I think that this is the song that's like less IDM and more, I don't know. It's not IDM though. I like it though. I'm just gonna let it play for a minute. I made the mistake in the last episode. I listened to it back. There was a couple times where the music was like very clearly much louder than me, and it was hard to hear me. You could say it added to the vibe, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna cry this time. Why did I cry last time? It made for a good video, or maybe good art. Was that video art? I guess it was. You know, if you're crying in the middle of a Let's Play, unironically, it's probably art. Let's Plays art? Or are they content? Is content art? Oh god. I don't need to ask these big questions right now. That's how my manic episodes get worse. I can tell I'm deep into a manic episode if I ask like really big and also dumb questions. Like, for instance, I'm in a Discord server where I have a channel titled Gene's Thoughts. My name's Gene, by the way. I don't know if I had that name back when I did the original Let's Play. I might have. But, I asked during, I think it was June of last year when I was, like, getting manic, do quarks have quarks? Like, quarks is in, like, the smallest possible unit, or the smallest possible particle or whatever, or like what atoms are made up of. And I asked, do quarks have quarks? And people thought it was just like a weird weed high question, but I think I was manic, because it's a really stupid, but also like, it's probably asking something that is deep in some way. I really couldn't say. It might just be stupid. I wasn't high when I wrote it, I don't think. I might have been. Was I still smoking then? I was a heavy weed smoker back in like early 2023 and late 2022. Like I was doing dabs and whatnot, and those are like the biggest weeds. The biggest weeds. It's like concentrated THC or something that you like. Dabs are so weird. You like you get a blowtorch of some kind and you heat up this metal straw that's on like a glass piece, and then you put the metal straw up to like some dab stuff, and you suck it up, and it turns into smoke, and it's like super concentrated weed or super concentrated THC, and it fucks you up. I have to say, I would never do them again. For some reason, when I was like 19 or 20, no, 19, I was 19 during the entirety of doing dabs. I don't know how I wasn't affected more by it. There was a couple times where I was like, man, I feel like I'm gonna die, or some shit like that. And I was just weed talking, like, real bad. But if I did one nowadays, if I did some dabs, I don't want to think about what it would do to me. But thankfully, I'm not in that situation anymore. And now I just do normal weed occasionally. And like, I had a weed cupcake the other day. It was a lemon cupcake, and it was delightful. I felt pleasantly high. I went to sleep very delighted. I don't know. Ooh, this song's pretty funky. I hope it's loud enough for y'all. I'm probably talking over the music quite a bit, but in fairness, if you're watching these to listen to the music, you're doing it wrong. Like, it's part of the vibe, but it's not the main reason you should be here. Just listen to the albums on them by themselves. Like, that's probably a great way to do it. I imagine my 10 Skies video got like over 300 views, which is very weird because my YouTube channel only has like either 220 or 320 subscribers. So for it to get that many views without it being like a world record or a cartoon loop, clearly it caught up with the Patricia Taxxon fans. Or maybe, I don't know. But if you're back, hello. I'm glad you're here. I hope this what I'm talking about isn't too triggering. I say that as if only Patricia Taxxon fans can get triggered, which is like a really funny thought, but not something to entertain. I don't know. Yeah, gosh, that I want to bleep that out, but I know I'm not gonna edit this down like at all, because I started it by saying hello, and I'm gonna end it by saying goodbye. And unless there's something I say in here that I need to bleep out, I'm not even gonna bother. I don't know. I am further on HRT. A lot of things have changed about me. I mean, not a lot. I'm choosing not to go with my more higher pitched voice that I use online, because I imagine talking with that for an hour and a half would be quite taxing. It's not refined yet, and it's definitely not my normal speaking voice yet. It is when I'm like talking with people whomst I've met after transitioning online. But I plan on changing it because I went to voice therapy like a week ago or so. A week and a half ago, I think, probably. Shit, who took me to there? I don't know. I think it was my friend. But they stuck a camera up my nose, or down my nose, I should say, and then down to look at my vocal cords or whatever. My vocal stuff. And I'm all healthy down there. It's all good. It was very weird, and the first camera that they used was too big. It was hurting my nose. Like, it went without going as far as a COVID test. It hurt my nose more, which confused me. But it was because, unlike a COVID test, it was aiming in a different direction. So it was hitting some things in my nose that a COVID test doesn't normally hit. Which was weird. It was a terrible sensation. I hated it when it touched those things on my nose. But I got through it. They used a smaller camera, and I got to look at a video of them looking at my insides, which was quite an odd experience, but I loved it. It was great. The people who I worked with were wonderful, and I'm going to see them more often, I think. Not more often, but I'm going to see them regularly, I should say. Other than that, I don't know. I've started going to the food bank. There's a food bank that is quite near me that I wasn't going to for a while because I just didn't know it existed. And then when I did know it existed, I kept missing it because it's open for 1 hour on one day of the week. And it's very early in the day too. It's like 9 to 10 a.m. And so I would miss it for multiple weeks. And then the 1 week I did come, I thought I was just gonna fill up what I could fit in my backpack because I don't drive, and I biked there. Wow, this level is rough. I'm just kind of going through it, aren't I? Yeah, no, I thought I was just gonna fit what could fit in my backpack, but no, they were like, hey, we can deliver the shit to you. I was like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And so every other week they deliver to my house. And they just delivered today at like noon or 1, I think. So I got beef stew in a bag. I got fish sticks. I probably got juice, maybe something like that. I don't know. I haven't looked at all what I got yet because I'm still doing good on food. Like, ever since I started going to the food bank, I have an abundance of food in my house, which is awesome, because when I first moved to Maine, which is where I live, my diet consisted of cereal, sandwiches, like ham and cheese sandwiches that I would make, and then whatever ready-to-eat stuff I bought from the store. And wow, what a terrible diet. Like, it could have been worse. I could have been buying potato chips and TV dinners, but fucking sandwiches and cereal and ready-to-eat stuff from the store, no good. And my next step was cooking on the stove. Like, I think for the first month or 2 of living here, I didn't use the stove. I still haven't used the oven just because I don't bake a lot of things, like, ever. Like, I don't make a lot to bake, and I don't make, like, frozen pizzas or other shit like that. Like, I have a toaster oven if I need to make something like that. Oh, the song ended. I know the next one, though. It's pretty wacky. Hello? What's the next song? What? Hello? Oh, there it is. Great. Shit, I lost my place again. Whatever. It's fine. I forgot what I was talking about. I am going through a bit of a manic episode right now. Like, it's minor at the moment. I think it's hard to tell if it's gotten worse since it started like 2 hours ago. But it's fine. It's whatever. I think the reason I'm yawning so much and whatnot is because I listen to this album when I go to bed. Like, back in April, I probably listened to this album to go to bed like 25 out of 30 days in April. I don't know, it's really good at helping me fall asleep. And so me yawning is perfectly normal when putting this album on. If I can sleep to an album, it's a good album. There are some albums which, like, I can't sleep to but are good, but if I can sleep to it, it's good. I mean, there's generic music that, like, makes you tired because it's so bad. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about music like fucking the other album that I also like listening to when I go to sleep is Mount Erie's Lost Wisdom Part 2. That album is really beautiful, and I find a lot of the lyrics to mean nothing to me. Like, there are some lyrics that mean a lot to me in that album, but Lost Wisdom Part 2 is very... I don't know. I mostly listen to it for the instrumental part, and like the singing is also great. Julie Dorian, or however you say her name, is like a beautiful singer, and so is Phil Elverum. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. Like the line, even if I never get to see you again, I'll know that when we collided, we both broke each other open. Like, that shit's so beautiful. Like, that's like the one line, or there's more lines in that album that hit me, but like that, when I hear that, it hits me and it hurts me, because I know he's probably referencing his wife, who passed away in like 2016. I'm getting a phone call. Hello, I'm back. From the phone call, it was okay. That was level 29, so I'm just gonna start from level 29. Yeah, that phone call was with my mother. It was a whatever phone call. She just wondered how I was doing, and yeah, I'm back. It's been like 20 minutes or so. I'm glad I was able to take a breather, like a third way into this Let's Play. That's definitely a good thing, I would say, because even though it's part of the vibe for me to get fatigued in all of the different ways you can be fatigued, I don't like being that way. It's not a great feeling. Me crying was not, although it can be cathartic to cry, me crying in that last Let's Play was, like, not the greatest time. It's never the greatest time. I mean, maybe tears of joy. Well, I can't pretend that I haven't had a really good cry before. I don't know. It's an odd feeling to really like to cry. Like, it's weird. I started HRT, and for a while, it was way easier to cry. But that's kind of subsided. Like, it's been a while since I've cried, like, a lot, and it's bothering me. There have been a couple times where, like, I try to, whether by listening to a really sad album like Mount Erie's A Crow Looked at Me, or confronting past trauma, or looking at something particularly triggering. You know, like, I try to cry sometimes, and it just doesn't work, and it infuriates me. Maybe playing handulum for an hour and a half will do that. Just like last time. I don't know. How are y'all doing? Tell me in the comments, please. I'd love to hear. Because I don't know, people just saying random things to me to spark conversation is definitely a good love language, in my opinion. Or I suppose when I say love language, I mean that more broadly. Like, people saying things randomly to anyone to spark conversation is a great love language. My cousin came up with a phrase, bid for connection approved, like, for things like that. Like, sometimes I'll just, like, they didn't make it for me, or because of me, but they made it for situations like that, where people will just say something, and it won't necessarily mean a whole lot, but they're bidding for connection. And that's just great. I love it. Bid for connection approved. Bid for connection in the comments. Start a conversation, just randomly. If nobody does, I will be very sad. But that's highly likely, because unlike the 10 Skies video, her album 10 Skies, or her album Visiting Narcissa, is not in public eye anymore. I say that as if anything she's made has been in the public eye quite a bit. She made, I'm referring to Patricia Taxxon, the maker of this album that's playing. She made a video on, I think, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That got like almost 1 million views, which is crazy. It's great. But it's nothing's really hit the cultural zeitgeist. Unless you count EAO, or whatever it's called, which is like only tangentially related to her in that she made the song that's in it, but the animation is what got it super popular. But no, weird video. It's pretty fun. It has like over 30 million views, which is like definitely that's definitely what you'd consider viral, I would say. I don't know. Only Mr. Beast is viral now. That's the real red pill. Y'all ever hear about Lunchly? I've just dated the video. That came out like a couple weeks ago. His Lunchables knockoff. It's... I don't know why you'd... Like, I can understand a candy bar. Like, that's like... I guess anybody could enjoy a candy bar, even if it's generally child-centric. But fucking Lunchly? Like, God, that's like... You're really pandering to your audience, aren't you? I can't pretend that I haven't watched a Mr. Beast video. I've watched them before. Some of them are... I would say some of them are better than others, but I think all of them are pretty much the same quality, which is like soulless dribble. It's definitely got a vibe to it that's like very algorithm-centric. He says he's trying to make the best videos possible, but realistically, that's just, like, the videos that get the most views. Which is not the greatest metric for the greatest thing possible. Truly. If something was perfect, would people who didn't believe in perfection start believing in it? Like, if you presented something perfect to someone who didn't believe in perfection, like, what would happen? I mean, it won't happen ever because perfection doesn't exist. But if it did, would someone who don't believe in it start believing in it? I've reiterated that multiple times already. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Damn it. I'm not good at this game. Never mind, I'm a god gamer. I need to switch back to Chrome. No, I don't. That's a terrible idea. I use Firefox because I'm cool and radical. And I'm a furry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I love doing levels suboptimally because sometimes it just feels right. Sorry, just... Someone trying to break in? I don't think so. I locked my doors. I'm a responsible person. Although it'd be real funny if someone was trying to break in and they heard me say that and they're like, fucking dumbass. Shoots me in the head. I don't know. I think the knocking I heard was just part of the song, which is very funny. There's some songs that got some fucking noises in it where I'm just like, fuck, did someone just try to break in or knock on my door? It's no good. That immediately docks your song a point. So I guess this album is really a 9 out of 10 because it made me think someone was breaking in just now. Hold on. It's this song. This is the song with the fucking boinks. This isn't the latter half of the fucking album. What am I on about? Or it might be because the last song is like pretty long, I think. God damn it. But you know what I mean? Like artificial metal bonking? No good. Very spooky. It is not my vibe. This is not how you get Gene to fall asleep. Even if I was just yawning. Damn. Just realized I haven't turned on my monitoring, so I haven't been able to hear myself. Oopsie daisy. It's fine. Nobody cares. Well, No, you guys can't tell the difference because you aren't. It's not like it would do a double speak into my audio interface. It just lets me hear myself through my headphones. It doesn't re-record it, doesn't double time it, whatever the fuck you call it. Double tracking, something like that. That reminds me of a YouTube channel that I watched. I think it used to be called Squares Collective. I think it's called Net Neutral Music now, where they have an OP1 field, which is the newer version of the OP1. $2,000 brand new, by the way. Just want to say, terrible price. Would never buy it in a million years at that price. But it's pretty nifty, you know? Like, it's something. I was saying something. Net Neutral Music, I think, is what they're called now, and they make videos where they use like acoustic instruments into their OP1 sampler, or like just putting acoustic instruments onto tracks or whatever. And it's nice. They make some nice stuff. I like their second video that they put out, which is, I think it's called The Sunrise, the Moon Cries, or something like that. I love it. It's a good vibe. Although that other part where they use there's another one, their first song, that, wait, hold on. Was The Sun Cries, Moon Cries their first or second video? Oh god. I'm Mandela affecting myself right now. But no, they have another video that like was their most popular video, where they use like a cello string on a guitar, like some other artist did, or something. At least that's what they mentioned in the video, like some other artist did that. It was pretty neat. I liked it, but the vibe on that song is not as good because the vocals are not great. I don't know, it's weird. Damn, if only I had water. Oh, hey, the vibe is getting better. When this song drops, it fucking drops. Like, it's great. If the whole song was like after it dropped, instant classic. But it has to be spooky. We have to take the good and the bad. I'm not saying that the spooky part's bad. It's just not what I'm trying to fall asleep to, you know? Maybe some other people are falling asleep to Visiting Narcissa, and they like that part to fall asleep to. There's the drop, by the way. I don't know. I have it on Bandcamp. I've bought a lot of Patricia Taxxon's albums for $1 on Bandcamp, and my god, is it a great time. Like, I think Bandcamp takes like 20 or 10 or 30%, unless you do it on a Bandcamp Friday, which is when they don't take any of the fucking money when you give to an artist. But otherwise, I've given Patricia like $10 probably, because I've bought like 11 of her albums, I think. 11? Let's see. If I think about what... Oh, it's Clutch. If I think about how many albums I have on Bandcamp, or how many songs or whatever, I paid $1 for all of them. One of them is a single from a guy called Shrew Cuckoo, called Lilybird. Great song. I love that song. And then I think I have... Let's see, it's 9... I originally had 9, and then I bought 6 more, so 15, and 15 minus 1 is 14, so I have 14 of her albums, paid $1 for each of them, so it's $14 minus 30%, it's like a little over $10, assuming that Bandcamp takes 30%, I don't know their cut. I've never gotten paid by Bandcamp because all of my music you physically cannot pay for. Like, I put it as name your price, and then I put the maximum amount you can pay for it as $0.00. And it makes it so that only 200 people can download my songs per month. But you know what? Nobody's downloading my music anyway. You should. I think my music's alright. It's not great. I think I've made some songs that are very emotionally cathartic to listen to, but I'm also not great at like mixing or mastering or even really any part of the musical process. I think I got some good ideas like the da 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 da. That meant nothing to any of you because I haven't used that particular melody in anything yet. But you know what? That's okay. I say melody. Most of those are chords, and I'm just simplifying them into one note because I cannot play chords with my voice unless I edit it to do that. Crazy, I know. Wow, I'm only like 40 minutes into this fucking thing, and I'm getting bad at handulum. I learned the other month that oofta is basically Swedish for oof, which I find funny. Like, I listened to someone tell me what oofta meant, and it literally just, like, is what you say, is like when you say oof. Like, oh, I dropped something. Oof. Oofta. And now I say oofta, which is infinitely better than oof, because it doesn't derive from Roblox, or whatever Tommy Tallarico did. I hope I'm loud enough for this. I think I am, because the music is pretty fucking quiet, and when I after the phone call, I listened to the 30-minute recording that I did before I got the phone call, and the levels seemed a lot better than the 10 Skies video I did, where, as I said earlier, some shit was very loud compared to my voice. So we're doing all right. Maybe now that this is 2 videos, I have to edit it together, which sucks. But you know, it's fine. We'll be all right, folks. Is this the last song? No, it's not. It's close though. Where's the music? There's the music. It's very quiet. This must be one of the last songs though, because how fucking far am I into the fucking 48 minutes, and there's an hour and a half left. What? God damn it. I know there's artistic nudity. Not in that though, not in the YouTube version, which is why I'm not playing it from Bandcamp. There's a reason it's cropped on YouTube, sadly. I mean, it's listen, I'm not... Shut up. It's a great fucking song though, I love it. That's what I hear, which is great. I love that. Yeah. God damn it. These last few days have been kind of rough for me. Like, just emotionally. Like, there was a couple nights ago where I called 988 and they didn't really help. Which is normal. Like, 988's not the greatest place to look for help. It is when you have literally nothing else. Like, it's fine. People validate your feelings on there, and they try to empathize with you, and sometimes that can be very cathartic. But tonight, or that night rather, that happened, it was just not helping me. And that was rough. I was feeling very down, and I didn't want to call my cousins just because, like, I don't know. I love them, but they're just not always the right people to call when I'm having a mental health crisis. They're generally very mental health forward, which is awesome. And they get it. Like, they've been depressed before, as everyone has, but they have similar... My cousins have been known to get depression. I don't know. Overall, I'm doing great. Like I've pretty much been on like an upward climb, which isn't to say it's been hard, but like in the past like 6 months, I've been doing better each month generally. Like, there's not, like, since that last video, I've met a new friend, and it's been great. Like, I talked about her earlier. I was trying to conceal everything about her, but I'll just say her gender and whatnot. I don't know. Oh yeah, this song has like rapping on it. It's crazy. This song is great for sleeping. I love it. It's very chill. The little glitches that are... Oh my god, my mouse skills. Is there some shit under my mouse? Fuck. Alright. It's better. God Gamer. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping, like, it's not, okay, I don't like inconveniencing hospital staff by having me go to the hospital, but being on the border of going to the hospital and not going sucks, because you're not doing well, but you're not doing bad enough that you think you need to go to the hospital. And that's like the worst, that's like one of the worst feelings, because I don't like being sad or manic. And sometimes being manic feels good. But right now my mind's just going a million miles an hour, and it's not the greatest feeling. I should stop using the phrase like not the greatest, because it's not very descriptive. Having your mind go a million miles an hour is very conducive to not parallel, but paranoid thinking. I wanted to say parallel, then I wanted to say paralyzed, but no, it's paranoid. I'm not super paranoid right now, thankfully. I don't know. But I'm definitely not feeling great. And I hope it gets worse so that I can go to the hospital. Teetering on the edge? Terrible. I'd rather get the feeling over with by going to professionals, instead of just kind of being at home and being miserable, but not being so terrible as to need to call. Generally, I'm calling my cousin to take me to the hospital, because I don't need to inconvenience EMS or the police to come to my location. Number one, because they would take like 20 minutes to get here, and my cousin only lives like 5 minutes from me. And that's just great if I'm not doing well, or if I'm suicidal. And if I'm talking to my cousin, it's just, I can it's if my cousin takes me, then I don't have to let people know that I went to the hospital. Like, my cousin would know, and he can tell people if he wants to. Or at least somebody knows where I am immediately. I don't know. When I lived in Iowa, it was generally EMS arriving or a police officer taking me when I would go. I hate to let you guys know now, but I am mentally ill. I've been to the hospital many times for suicidal ideation. Not great, and don't like it. It's no good. But it happens. Interestingly enough, I never went. I went once when I was about to turn 18, and I didn't end up going to like a mental place because the hospital staff, when I went to the hospital, were very, they definitely weighed it so that they tried to make it so that I went back home the day after. Because they were like, if you gotta go, then they gotta come over here. It takes a couple hours to get to the place where you need to go. It sucks. It's whatever. They very much were not the most, realistically, if they didn't like weigh it so heavily in favor of me going home when they were talking to me, I would have gone to the hospital because I was still not doing good. For the first time in my life, I was like self-harming, and I also was like very, not empathetic, but apathetic rather. Being apathetic is the worst feeling in the world. It's not because it makes you feel terrible, but because it makes you feel nothing. And feeling nothing is like just, it's, you know how like hell, like, you know how Dante's Inferno or whatever the fuck is like the reason people think hell is like fire and flames and lava and whipping? I haven't read the Bible, but I've heard that hell is just the furthest place from God's light or whatever. And it kind of makes you think of like, I don't know, hell, I would much rather, if I was Christian, I would rather be in the fiery pits than be away from God's light or whatever. Because when I think of that, I think of being apathetic. I don't know. I'm not Christian. I've never been Christian. I was raised atheist, but it kind of reminds me of like the difference between being super sad and depressed and being apathetic. It's soul crushing coming back from it and then you realize like how fucking insane you were. Because like I would talk to my therapist while I was apathetic, and I would have no qualms if she, like, you know how, you probably don't, but like there's like some memes in self-harm circles about like lying to your therapist so that you don't go to the hospital. When I was apathetic, I had no problems if she just said like, this is an old therapist, I haven't been to her in years, but if she was like, do you plan on harming yourself when you get home? I would just be like, yeah. Like, no emotion behind my words. It was so fucking weird. I hated it. I mean, while I'm doing it, I don't hate it because I'm apathetic. I'm not feeling anything. But it's not a good time because you're not, I cannot overstate this. You're not feeling anything. There's no care in the world, and it's not like happiness in that sense. It's so fucking lonely, and it's not even lonely. God, I can't describe it. There's nothing's going on emotionally when you're apathetic. That's kind of the point. You don't care about anything, and when I was going through it, I haven't been through it in a while, which is good, but when I was going through it, especially back in like 2021, I had no problems being very graphic with my words to people, and it's just not, it's not great. Like I didn't really have a filter. Not that I had a lot of like opinions to say that like me not having a filter would make worse for me, but just if I had to describe something graphic, I would, and I would not care. Or even if I didn't have to describe it, but like something got brought up that made me feel, that made it pertinent to the conversation. I don't know. I'm saying random shit right now. But it was, fuck. I'm not good at this game anymore. I hate this mouse. I need to get a new mouse. The end of it is so fucked. It feels terrible to use. I need a new mouse. I bought this mouse thinking I would use the 16 buttons on the side. And I did for a short while when I was on my Windows PC or my Windows laptop or whatever. But on my new Mac, or not new, but I've had it for like a year and a half probably. On my new computer, it's no good. Like the buttons don't do anything. So I'm just using this mouse. It's like a Logitech something or other. I got the I think I got the Handulum world record on a $7 gaming mouse, which is like kind of crazy because this is like the game to need the precision to get the world record. I suppose it could have been better if I had like a better response time monitor or a better mouse, but like if I can get sub 140 on a shitty gaming mouse, it's fine. It's alright, buddy. Yeah. I have not been... I just realized my mouse is like on the screen now, and that I hate it. It's really fucking with me. Like my, like it's not just the hand that's on the screen now. Let me see if I can change that. Am I back? Yes, I'm back. This is way easier. When the mouse is on screen as well, it's no good. God, I'm getting resistance from the fucking cord! Oh my god. Is this when I start crying? Fuck. Okay, I'm better. Maybe it's the episode where I rage, where I'm angry, and like I go through bullshit, like anger in this episode. And then the next episode will be greed. And then the next episode will be what other emotions that are there. Happiness. The fourth episode will be happiness, everybody. I'm not... My mouse is doing the thing again. Oh my god, the fucking... Why'd it come back? Why'd it come back? Oh my god, why is there a texture? There's a texture on my fucking desk. It's making my mouse movement get fucked up. I will finish this album. I will. I'm like an hour through it. There's half an hour left. I'm fine. I'll do this. I promise. Although if my mouse does the thing again too much, I will not hesitate to end this fucking recording. Man, I got so many handulum fucking things on my computer. By handulum things, I mean handulum recordings. Like I think I've said my process before when recording handulum videos. Excuse me. What happens is I press record, I start a run, and if I die, I restart the video and I restart the game. And if I win, but it's not world record, I keep recording. or I don't keep recording, but I keep restarting the recording. And so I just have so many videos of failed attempts, especially on this computer, because I haven't gotten a handulum world record since I was using my gaming laptop, which I no longer have. I'm getting it soon. And by soon, I mean at some point this year, hopefully, because it is at someone's house that I cannot go to because it's in Iowa. And I'm talking to them occasionally about getting it shipped here, but it's a slow communication because they are a busy person. Yeah. Man, I'm just... This might be my least favorite song on this album, just because it's like not very... It's alright. It just... I find it's not very cathartic, unlike the other ones. If only, the thing about Patricia Taxxon's YouTube uploads of her music stuff is that it's not time-stamped with the songs. Like, the songs are in the description, but there's no timestamps to tell you when they start and when they stop. And it's no good. I hate it. I don't know. I am getting kind of sad now. I don't know why. Am I going to the hospital after this recording? That is the question. Hold on, I'm gonna look up on my phone how long the last song is. Oh, this is her bed. That's like the other song that I know on this album. So we're in the last... Are we in the last 20 minutes? How far are we into this? Wait. 20 minutes? This is... Okay, yeah, 20 minutes. That makes sense. All right. We're in the long of the short of it, folks. That is just amazing. We love to hear it. In fact, I'm gonna turn up. Is that turned up? That's better. A little louder. It's a great song. Yeah. I got no other words. I'm just gonna let it play. I'll talk during it. That's kind of an oxymoron, but it's all right. We're doing okay. I think I said that during the last Let's Play a lot. I mean, I just say that phrase pretty often, I think. We're doing okay. God, I keep hearing shit. I know that one wasn't in the song. If someone's breaking in, I'm gonna be so mad. Someone broke in on January 2nd of 2024. And it started making me lock all my doors every night. Or just in general, like while I'm gone. Or while I'm in the house. And that's a good thing. I'm glad. It was a very weird experience. They came into my house because my front door was just unlocked. I yelled, "Who's there?" And they came into the how do I say, the door frame of my room, and I was like, "Who are you?" And I think because I was acting like I'll be frank, I was very disoriented, like I was like about to go to sleep, and I was very disoriented. And I've also learned that when I'm in when I'm faced with like stranger danger, I act sort of mentally disabled. It's very odd, and I don't mean that in like an insulting way. It's just how I am. I found that happens. It's happened a couple times where like if stranger danger happens to me, I genuinely act like I'm mentally disabled. And I did that. I think my theory is that they came into my house looking to steal and maybe murder, but they saw me and they saw how I was acting and they're like, man, this guy's mentally disabled. I'm not gonna do anything or steal anything. And so they left. And then I locked after they left, I went to the front door, I locked my door, called my cousin, told them someone broke in, and then they told me to call 911. It's kind of funny that wasn't my first instinct. I don't know. But it was just amazing. Just a great time. I definitely was not scared shitless. I don't know. It's okay that the album's gotten louder because the last song is like pretty quiet, I think. Last I checked, the last song is like really quiet. Well, most of this song is loud and the song itself is a whole 12 minutes long. So we're in for a bumpy ride, folks. Do you guys know what I mean when I say it's erotic? Like, this song is erotic to me. Maybe that's weird. Maybe it's not super erotic to you. Maybe it's just kind of stress-inducing. Like, when I hear the song, I think sex. Ah! Maybe that's influenced by the fact that it's called Her Bed, and the whole album is about what the soundtrack of being introduced to these rooms. And Her Bed is like, that's not something you just show some guy coming to your house. You're fucked. I don't know. Very chaotic, erotic, melancholic. Not melancholic at all. I just wanted to rhyme something with melancholic, but I couldn't think of anything. Erotic and melancholic kind of rhyme a little bit, like not terribly, but they kind of rhyme. God damn it. Bad at this game. Bad at this game. It'd be really funny if, like, in these Let's Plays, I end up getting a world record, and I just don't notice because I'm playing it with the soundtrack. But hey, I mean, you can hear the game still. There's nothing being obstructed in the game. Like, you can see the whole thing. It's just that there's a voice and there's a soundtrack behind it. And thankfully, the soundtrack is royalty-free. Like, you can just use it in anything as long as you credit Patricia taxxon, which I will. It's probably going to be named very similarly to the last video I did, where it was playing handulum for an hour while visiting Narcissa by Patricia taxxon plays over it. And that's just, it's amazing. I love it. And if it gets as many views as the last one, I'll be surprised and delighted. I need water, but I'm not going to get water because there's only like 15 minutes left in this Let's Play. It doesn't feel like the last one I did felt really long. And I think the album is still, like, 10 Skies is also an hour and a half. Maybe it's because I took a break in between, like that could be it. But the 10 Skies was way longer. It was grueling. Not because 10 Skies is a bad album, or Handulum is a bad game. Too much of anything is bad. And you can have too much Handulum. Especially when you're not even like taking breaks between recordings. Like, I would keep playing, and if I died, I would stop recording, exit out of the game, start recording again, get into the game again, for an endless loop. By endless, I mean it would go on for a couple hours. It's funny. I used to do that, like, back in, like, 2019, 2020. And during those years, every time I would have like a couple-hour play session in handulum, I would get a world record because it just wasn't perfected, and that happened a good many times. I would say many is a strong word. It happened a lot. And then I got to sub 140, and I got very into and the song is cathartic. Maybe next time I do one of these, I will switch to my feminine voice. But for now, we're just gonna go for normal man voice. It might be a little bit higher pitched than normal because I do the feminine voice pretty often, and that can, if you do it long enough, it naturally changes your speaking voice to the point where after a good couple months of speaking femininely, your natural voice is the feminine. It's great. But I'm not at that point yet. I think I'm hearing my voice and I can tell it's a little higher than it used to be, I think. But it could also just be because I'm dehydrated. Oh, I love these noises. These are good noises. Good noises. Very, Patricia Taxxon has described her music making process as, maybe not that, but like, she likes making music that makes her ears hurt in a certain way. I think that's something she said on her Tumblr once. And I agree. Sometimes her music hurts my ears in the best way possible. Like, Karanese, or she made a noise album with a spider on the cover, and that shit was pretty good. But when I first listened to it a couple years ago, this is when I like first started listening to Patricia Taxxon, or like started even watching her videos. That album came out, and I was like, I'll listen to this, I guess. And I did not like it. I listened to the first song, or like the first couple minutes of the first song, and I was like, not my thing, I'm good. But I listened to it recently, and it's grown on me since then. It's weird. That's not weird. Your taste changes over time. It's matured. It's matured to the point where I can listen to noise music and not be weird by it. I say that. I've been listening to Black Dresses longer than I've been watching Patricia Taxxon, I think. Have I? I don't know when I started watching Patricia Taxxon. So sometime in probably 2020. So Black Dresses and Patricia Taxxon coincide pretty much. They intersect at the same time or whatever. Listen to Black Dresses, by the way. They've made some good albums. My favorite is Love and Affection for Stupid Little Bitches. And the music's gonna get quiet for a little bit because the fucking song, the next song is really quiet. At the start, at least. Isn't? Yeah, seems like it. There it is. It's gonna do that for a while, I remember. It's gonna do that for like a minute, probably. It's a fucking amazing song, though. I love it so much. What did I give this album on Rate Your Music? Either like 4.5 or 5 out of 5. Something like that. I think I gave 10 Skies a 5 out of 5 just because like I found no flaws in it. And I might have given... Shit, what's the one with like the neon deer? Let me look on my phone while I play Handulum. We're gonna multitask, everybody. Fucking Wax Under Wolkenum is another 5 out of 5 album. Agnes and Hilda would be 5 out of 5 if the first song wasn't kind of weird. Like, I don't like the first song on that album. It's not good to me. It's the noises are just icky. They're too weird for me. But the rest of it's like amazing. I love it. It's a great little short fucking, I don't know what genre you'd put it in. It's definitely furry music. Most of her music is furry music. Bicycle is good. That was like, the album's kind of funny because it came out on January 1st of this year, and it was like the first album on the album of the year list for 2024 on Write Your Music, because it was like good to Patricia Taxxon fans, and it was like the only, I don't know, it got like a lot of traction though because of that, which is probably why it averages a 3.3 or 3.4, which isn't bad. That's like almost a 7 out of 10, but it would probably be higher if it wasn't something that got caught by the rest of Write Your Music. Aeroplane is I find to be very normie Patricia Taxxon music. Like, it doesn't challenge me sonically when I listen to it, which is fine. I like music like that, but when I listen to Patricia Taxxon, I want to be challenged sonically, which is a phrase I just made up, I think. Picks and Bits is another one of those, I think, but it was made in like 2019 probably, so it's not as refined. Still bangers all across the board, except for the last couple songs, which get very noisy and weird to me. Foley Artist is also very noisy in a weird way, but it's like good noise, I think. It's weird. I like it. Gloria is another one I picked up recently. Very good fucking hyper pop, glitch pop, whatever. I love it. It's short and sweet, I would say. That's what I would call it. New Piranesi, I think it's not how you pronounce it, definitely. But that's the Noise album I was referring to earlier, which is good. I like it. Fucking Sapphire Apps, banger album. It's like a more poppy thing that she's made. I Know You're Welcome was made in part because of her video about the 4 chords of pop. And so it's a very poppy song, and I love it. The other songs on it are good too. Tech Dog 1 through 7. I didn't buy 1 through 7, but she has a compilation album called Tech Dog 1 through 7, which you can buy for $1, which is a crazy steal considering it's like fucking 12 hours worth of music, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I don't know. That album, I find, starts out as IDM and ends as ambient, which is real interesting. It does that because the first album on it is like, 25 minutes or something? Maybe 40, 30? Because each song averages like 2.5 minutes. And then each subsequent Tech Dog gets longer. They're all 11 songs, but all of the songs get, on average, like 75% larger than the last or something like that, or like 10 minutes longer. I forget exactly how it goes, but I haven't listened to the whole thing yet. I think I've gotten close, because like I've put it on while I'm sleeping, and when I go to sleep it's IDM, and when I wake up it's ambient. And like while I've been conscious, I've gotten through the first couple Tech Dogs, I think. But like listening to 12 hours of music in a row while you're awake is like a lot. It's great, but it's a lot. I don't know, I recommend Tech Dog. It's definitely like, it's not great. Like I don't think I'd rate it like a 5 out of 5 experience. I'd probably give the entirety of it a 4. It's great, but it's not great. I listened to Little Spoon, which is like her first album that she recommends starting with in her discography. I think that's what I heard her say. And it's good. I like it. It's definitely, you can definitely tell she's 18 when she fucking wrote it or made it. But it's a good album. Like I like it. Like the part where she's quoting, I forget what she's quoting, but she's like, I can't sing it, for fuck's sake. But she says, I've been nostalgic for other people's childhoods all my life. That's a banger line right there. And 10 Skies, I 10 out of 10 album. It's good. It's got no flaws other than maybe the fact that, like, because it's made for the 10 Skies movie, like the songs abruptly stop, which is weird for ambient. But it's fine. Fuck. Yeah. That's like most of the discography that I listen to. I think I skipped the Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe in that because I don't. It's a very horny album. And I like it, but I don't want to. I don't know. It's hard to talk about without going through the material. If you don't know who Robert Mapplethorpe is, he took pictures of flowers and nothing else. Nothing else, I promise. The Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe is like a CDI game or something. It's so funny because like even the pictures of flowers are very erotic. Like they're just flowers, but like it's erotic and it's so funny. Because what he normally takes pictures of is like erotic photos of like BDSM and just kinky stuff. And they made a CDI game based off of the flowers he took pictures of. And then Patricia Taxxon made it into an album. I don't know. God, this song is good. There's not a lot left. I don't even think I can finish this game again. But we can try. Oh, no. Yeah, no, I can't. I think I'll do this last one even after the song ends. But that's all right. Do I want to? No, I'm gonna end it as soon as the song ends. No! Can't believe I fucked up the last run. I'm so stupid. Good shit. By now, I'd be asleep if I wasn't playing handulum. I'll just say that right now. And the album ended. Great. We love to hear it. Thank you for watching. No. Do not play Aeroplane. We are not playing handulum anymore.